Dear women, the whole phase will destroy you.
I don't do boyfriend. I don't do the boyfriend.
So what you do?
One night stands. I just said that.
I don't like commitment. I don't do no motherfucking relationship.
You don't do relationship?
Nah, that shit dead for the motherfucking bird. I'm not the marrying type.
I don't do marriage. One night stand. I'm more of
This girl right here, she got some head in the pool today. I have a question. Did you like it?
Yeah.
Oh, with a straw going down the middle. So by the time that margarita got a little bit lower, she started telling me more stuff. Telling me about all the one-night stands, how many times they done freaky stuff on girl trips with her girls. Just putting it all on the line.
So first things first, let me make a disclaimer before anything else. There is a man's side about it, but the reason why I'm splitting it in two, because being a whore and being a homemonger, even though they're in the same category, they are two different things. We gotta understand. So we have to attack the situation different, because as I am a man speaking to women about this situation, I'll be also, as a man, speaking to men about this situation as well. And I think it's just two different things that I would have to differentiate between the two, even though they're in the same category. So this is the women's side about it. So we have to understand, what is the whole phase? So the whole phase is usually women go through this when they, some girls go through this when they get to high school. They get to high school and they like, okay, I'm gonna sleep around and all this good stuff. And most women, I say, they go through it in college. Cause see, we've been programmed since we were itty bitty little kids, babies, from watching our TV shows, our movies, and reality TV, just all these things that having sex before marriage is okay thing to do. Having a whole bunch of bodies is the thing to do. It's okay to explore. It's okay to do what you want to do. It's okay not to, get married and shack up with a person before you truly get married. And people don't understand the doorways they're leading themselves into. It's pretty much at the end of all be all, it's going to be destruction. And let me persuade you to understand that. See, what you have to understand is the whole phase isn't something that was always as prevalent as it is today, and there's a reason for that. One of the evil encounters that happened was in, I say, the 1950s or 60s. It was like the sexual liberation movement, where women could, quote unquote, go around, sleep around, and do what they wanted to do. And I guess they were trying to be more like men, but if we report back, even men at that time, they really didn't have as much sex as they was having today. But also at this time, you'll find more 30-year-old virgins that are men rather than women. So it still comes to a case of who's the top pick and who understands women in this day and age, rather than the day and age of old, where men didn't really have to understand women too much to be able to get a woman. But even then, it took work to have a woman. You couldn't just have a woman. You understand what I'm saying? So sexual liberation opened up the doors. It made it easier for men to get in, if we're thinking about it. See, sexual liberation means that women can decide now that they could pick and choose who they wanted to sleep around with, and they don't have to have any contract with them. Marriage was a contract. Marriage was a covenant that you had with someone. If you slept around with somebody, it used to be back in the time, we called those shotgun weddings, where if I slept around with somebody's daughter, they would show up to my door with a shotgun and a priest and be like, you gotta marry my daughter now. That's how we were moving back then. But now things have changed. We've become more accepting to what is destructive to us. See, when women go off to college and, they have all this freedom to sleep around, to do whatever they want to do, because let me tell you something, college is so tempting. And I'm telling you, as a person that went through college, it's so tempting because you don't have any laws against you. Your parents not holding any rules or restriction over your head. You're in your own dorm room. You more than likely can sneak men into your dorm room. There's plenty of parties you can go to. There's plenty of bars you can go to. There's plenty of sororities you can go to. There's plenty of foul things that sororities make you do to be able to get into sorority. So, you have to understand that I truly believe that college opened up a big doorway for students to be able to defile themselves in that 4 years, 8 years, 6 years, or whatever time they're going to the school to, make or break their career. There's a lot of things we can talk about college as far as depth and all these other things, but sticking on the fact of the situation, the matter of fact that the whole phase, going around, exploring, not getting in a relationship, not being courted for marriage. Let me get you to understand something. See, a lot of y'all picked up this independent, I don't need anybody, I don't need no man persona. And y'all running with it like it's cute, like it's cool to have that posted on your shoulder.
I don't need anything from you. If you're broke, just say that. I don't need a man to pay for anything. If you're insecure, just say that. It's giving insecurity. Are you insecure, yes or no?
I'm not insecure, I'm just saying. You said you're an alpha female?
I'm an alpha female.
What does that mean?
It means men are normally intimidated by...
When now y'all realizing, or you realize at a later age, that man, I really do truly want a family. Man, I really do want, a husband, somebody to take care of me. Man, I really truly see the value of having a family. See, there are ethnic groups we have here in the world that are dominating financially, just, if they're ever in a situation, they can run to another family member for help because they kept the family together. See, especially in the black community, the father figure is not in the household anymore. And that being said, that causes a lot of dysfunction within that family group. Black Americans suffer from this the most, right? And with that being said, that's another factor of why a lot of these women, or a lot of you women, are going through the whole phase. And y'all don't understand that sleeping with all these people, you opening up spiritual doors with other people. You don't know what that man got going on with himself. You don't know if that man has a wife. You don't know if that man has a girlfriend, or a crazy girlfriend at that. We just had a girl out here in Miami killed her boyfriend for whatever reason. You know what I'm saying? What if he caught her? What if she caught him with another woman, and the other woman is you? Sometimes you don't even know, right? There's been plenty of situations where men don't even know, or women don't even know they're in a relationship. The person that they're with is in a relationship, and they get caught up in some mess they probably didn't want to be in. There's just so many doorways to destruction. You're talking about STIs, STDs. A lot of people are suffering from having STIs that just freely sleep around, freely doing willy-nilly. Doing whatever they want to do. And I'm not saying this as a perfect person. I've been there. I've done it. I thought it was the cool thing to be a player. Let's see how many women I can keep. Let's see how many women I can pull. Let's see how many numbers I can get. Let's see how many women I can bed. Let's see how many different houses I can go see. Let's see which one of these women's gonna let me drive their car. I've been there and done that. And I'm telling you, women, that look, this ain't something that you want. This ain't something that you want. There's a lot of consequences for your actions. And see, the issue that I have with a lot of women today is, see, now that y'all have the freedom to do whatever y'all want to do, y'all don't want to take the responsibility with that freedom. There's a responsibility for sleeping around with a whole bunch of men. Unwanted pregnancy. Now you're having a child, and now you want to do, now that the unwanted pregnancy happened, now you want to do a little sacrifice and get rid of the problem when there was two people involved, and then now we making the one person suffer because of two people's decision, which makes no absolute sense. See, anything in this life that you do, any decision you make, you stomp on the floor, there's a cause and effect. It'll vibrate. If I stomp on the floor right now, My neighbors will probably hear me. If I stop on it long enough, they'll probably come upstairs and knock on my door and say, hey, you're making too much noise. You understand what I'm saying? So you gotta understand that every decision and action that you make has some type of consequence, whether that's positive or negative. Now, I want to read a couple of scriptures to y'all because, I believe in the great Elohim and Jesus Christ. He bled and died on the cross for my sins, for me to have everlasting life, for believing in it. So, and in the Bible, guys, let me get y'all to understand something. Whether you believe in it or not, there's so much wisdom in there for you to receive. Whether you see, let me tell you this, because this is why I want to make this emphasis before I really get into reading it. The Jews don't even go by the New Testament. Like the so-called Jews today, they don't even go by the New Testament. And a lot of them don't even practice the law fully. And those that do practice the law fully, they're not really practical. Some of them don't even believe in God. I saw this research studies that there was a good number of them that don't believe in God. A good number of them that believe in God but don't really too much care for the law, but they do run the practices. And let me get y'all to understand something about those who call themselves Jews. They are some of the most dominant people on the planet. Look at all the names that are the richest family groups in the world, from the Rockefellers, the J.P. Morgans, and so on and so forth. There's so many, there's so much of them. And in that being said, if they follow the principles of the Bible, maybe we should too. You know what I'm saying? They structure their family unit. They take pride in having a family. They take pride of making them children work at an early age and understand what money is and how to interact with money. Not to go and sleep around with a whole bunch of women. They get on to their kids, but for doing stuff like that, they make sure they protect their daughters from doing anything. They make sure they wear appropriate clothing when they go out and stuff like that. They make sure their little brother is with them if they're finna, or big brother is with them if they're finna go out somewhere. There's just rules and regulations in there. It profited them big time. So let's get into the Bible. So we're gonna read in 1 Corinthians. Which one is it? 1 Corinthians. We're going to start at 1 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 15. It says, do you not know that your bodies are members of Christ? Shall I then take the members of Christ and make them members of a prostitute? Never. But do you not know that he who is joined to a prostitute becomes one body with her? For it is written, the two shall become one flesh. But he who is joined to the Lord becomes one spirit with him. Flee from sexual immorality. Every other sin a person commits is outside the body, but the sexual immoral person sins against his own body. Or do you not know that your body is a temple of the Holy Spirit within you, whom you have from God? You are not your own, for you were bought with a price. So glorify God in your body. And that's 1 Corinthians 6:14. And this is a letter that Paul sent to the church of Corinth because he was structuring order, giving order that God, inspired him to give to the churches across the world, because they were going across the world to spread the gospel of Jesus Christ. And he was giving order about sexual immorality. So what is sexual immorality in the Bible? Sexual immorality can pertain from adultery, being homosexual, what's the word, sodomy, and fornication, and so on and so forth. So that's what sexual immorality is. It's shunned against, and God doesn't like it. It's ugly to him, and this is talked about a lot. And Paul makes an emphasis on sexual immorality. And even though sins are equal in a term, we have to understand that for us in this physical third realm that we're in, that this could be big time for us because we cannot see the spiritual realm, right? And we cannot see the emotions that are intertwining while we're sleeping or laying with the person. We cannot see the demons that another person has. We cannot see, the attitudes or the chains of spirits that they have within them that's interchanging with you. We can't see those things, but the things are happening. Understand what I'm saying? And Paul was making emphasis on this because doing these, doing every other sin is outside the body. But this sin right here, this is something, that is spiritual. It says, let marriage be held in honor among all, and let the marriage bed be undefiled, for God will judge the sexual, immoral, and the adulterous. Keep your life free from love. That's it right there. So, right here, we don't really know who wrote Hebrews. It's kind of like a debate. If anybody knows, I think it was Apostle Paul that wrote Hebrews, but Hebrews. So, if anybody, a theologian knows a lot about that, go ahead and say something in the comment section. But it says, you know what I'm saying? Let marriage be held in honor among all, and let marriage bed be undefiled, for God will judge the sexual, immoral, and adulterous. So this is something God that doesn't like, right? And let me tell you something about rules and regulations that God gives. People think that God giving these rules and regulations is just like him wanting to be power over you. Or when a pastor give it, that it's the pastor that is attacking you. But really, or anybody that gives you the message, it's them attacking you. But really it's God. And he's not telling you this to have power over you. He actually gives you freedom. You're free to do what you want. You're free to do whatever you want to do. That's why I don't really argue too much with you. I remember I used to force my ideologies on other people. Like, you got to think the way I think. Well, no, not really. I'm finna just give you some game. If you don't want to take the game to learn how to not be a lame, hey, it is what it is. And you're going to learn your lessons. You know what I'm saying? Just like me, when I, didn't want to take any game in, and I wanted to do whatever I wanted to do. There were some things that were good and some things that were bad. There were some things that those good things gave me good fruit, and the bad things that I did gave me bad fruit. And y'all got to understand that do what you want to do. Do whatever you want to do. But when we talk about God giving you rules and regulations, it's to watch out for you. When your father tells you, hey, don't run out. If you finna cross the street, call me, I'll hold your hand and walk you across. When you're a little boy or a little girl, right? When you have gang members, drug dealers, all these things, all these guys, right, that are going out, doing out whatever they want to do, and they come to join you, and your father's like, no, you're not finna go do that. He's not doing that because he's just trying to rule over you. And some people do, but the Bible talks about honoring your father and your mother, so you should follow it anyway. But that's most fathers that love you not doing that, just saying, hey, just to be power over you, but it's to look out for you. There's destruction in living that lifestyle of selling drugs, selling cocaine, selling weed, sleeping with a whole bunch of women, sleeping with a whole bunch of men. Your father more than likely is not trying to beat you in the head just to make him feel righteous and over you. He's not trying to do that. He's doing it because he loves you. I know it's hard to understand at a young age, but as I got older, I truly understand that. So I hope a lot of young people that is watching this video really sit down and take the time to think about when their parents are telling them to do something. Understand what I'm saying? So women, flee from sexual immorality. Men as well too, but I made this specifically for the women about being in the whole phase. The whole phase is nothing but destruction. It leaves a lot of y'all in confusion. It leaves a lot of y'all not knowing what to do in this life. You got a baby by a dude you don't know. You don't know if he's going to be a good father. You don't know if he's going to be there for you. You don't know if he's going to take care of the child. Maybe he's there with you and y'all arguing all the time. Y'all not really equally yoked. Y'all don't get along. So now there's judicial issues and y'all got to go to court. You know what I'm saying? It's just so much debacle from not actually being courted for marriage, getting married. You know what I'm saying? I'll make a video topic about how relationships are worthless. They're not worth anything. It's, court for marriage or don't do nothing at all. Become a eunuch. Even though that's so hard to do, and even Jesus tells us that it's hard to do, that's a very rare thing. Having sex and, being able to procreate is a great thing. That's why God made it for us. but he made it for us in an orderly fashion, that we do it in an orderly fashion for the benefit of us, and not only us, but our people around us, the communities, to even, and then when you're doing great things in your community, that makes a power push into the world and other people and other communities and stuff like that. So the whole phase is nothing to play with. The whole phase is nothing to be proud of. And the whole phase is not a good badge of honor. You know, it's lowly. There's no badge of honor for being a whore. None. Like, I don't ever see the grandmama that was a hoe that's standing up talking at the family reunions. I don't see that. You understand what I'm saying? There's no honor behind that. And I'm not saying that to you because if you have lived that lifestyle, or you live in that lifestyle, that everything's, it's over for you, because it's not. You know, Jesus died and paid the price for you to turn away from your sins, to repent. Understand what I'm saying? And you can always do that. He always has the open door for you to do that. You just got to believe truly in your heart. So that's today's video topic. If you have any questions, if you have any thoughts, if you have any disagreements with any of the scriptures that I put out, leave a comment down below. If you like this video, leave a like, subscribe, comment for more. Much love and peace.